Hello and welcome to Inside the Americas. I'm Nadia Massey. In today's show, we head to California to get the latest in the battle to protect the Golden State from the 6th worst wildfire in its history. We'll follow the last-minute intervention by a US judge to prevent 3D guns being available on the mass market. Plus, with the summer holidays in full swing, our reporter takes us to the warm sands of Florida's best beach. Well, we begin then in California, where the 6th most destructive fire in the state's history has now been raging for over a month. Here's our image of the week, and so ferocious were flames that forests like this have simply been burnt to the ground. The deadly blazes have also ripped through 1,000 homes and claimed at least 6 lives. Yuka Roya has the story.
The fires rage on in Northern California. Fueled by strong, dry winds, the blazes spread across the region within days, leaving a trail of devastation behind.
It was almost like a tornado with fire in it, and it came over the hill, and it wiped out our house, it wiped out our next-door neighbor's home.
The largest blaze, named the Car Fire, has engulfed around 40,000 hectares in Shasta country since late July. It has claimed several lives, including these 2 children who got trapped in a house with their great-grandmother.
My little grandson on the phone, he's saying, "Grandpa, please, you got to come and help us. The fire's at the back door. Come and get us." I said, "I'm close by, son. I'm trying to get in there." I said, I'm right by you." I said, "I'm right by you, honey. Just hold on. Grandpa's coming."
The victims also include 2 firefighters. They were among the more than 12,000 men and women battling to contain the blazes. California is no stranger to wildfires, but this fire season is proving to be particularly difficult.
The difference with this fire is the winds have been very strong, and it's caused very erratic, very extreme fire behavior, very low humidities, single-digit humidities. Combined with those winds, very rugged terrain up in this area has caused an extremely hard firefight.
A state of emergency has been declared in several counties. President Trump and FEMA have granted California's request for direct federal assistance.
Our number this week is 32. That's how many Facebook and Instagram pages have been closed down as the social media giant says it's found new evidence of a coordinated campaign of disinformation on its platforms just months before the US midterm elections. Facebook hasn't blamed anybody publicly yet, but some lawmakers have already pointed the finger at Russia.
Removing bad actors from its social media platforms. Facebook Inc. says it has taken down 32 pages from Facebook and Instagram. This for being involved in coordinated, inauthentic behavior.
This kind of behavior is not allowed on Facebook because we don't want people or organizations creating networks of accounts to mislead others about who they are or what they're doing.
This is the kind of content that appeared on the accounts, one of which had close to 300,000 followers.
We know that it's not just about hacking into electoral systems and state registration systems. It's also about sowing divisions within the country among politicians and among average citizens. So I think it's not surprising. We should have been expecting this, and that's why we need to work together to address it.
Though Facebook can't confirm who is behind this coordinated campaign, it has found some links between these examples and the 2016 campaign by a Russian agency to influence the US presidential election. Some Congress members fear Russia is using the same playbook from 2 years ago to meddle in the upcoming November midterm vote.
If I were the president, I would get behind an effort, bipartisan effort in Congress to send a message to Russia that the more you do, the more we're going to do. The only thing Putin understands is strength, and we're going to look weak in the eyes of Putin if we don't up our game.
The tech giant says it's an arms race as it tries to counter the techniques used by malicious actors. An estimated 126 million Americans saw Russia-backed content on Facebook during and after the 2016 election.
Now, it used to be the stuff of science fiction, But manufacturing an untraceable weapon from the comfort of your own home is now possible, thanks to 3D printers. A US federal judge has this week prevented the release of blueprints that would have made such plastic guns available to the public. Cole Stangler explains.
They may look like toys, but these plastic guns are the real thing. And at the very last minute, a federal judge in Washington state blocks their blueprints from going online. Instructions that would allow anyone with a 3D printer to produce one of these lethal weapons. The order comes after 8 states filed a lawsuit aiming to block a federal settlement that would have allowed the plans to be published on the 1st of August. Democrat politicians had ramped up their criticism in recent weeks.
These ghost guns are the new wave of American gun violence.
This is the doing of the Trump administration. This is part of a long pattern of letting the gun lobby get whatever they want, even if safety is at risk, even if terrorists could gain the upper hand.
The biggest criticism of 3D printed guns, the absence of serial numbers, meaning these firearms are practically impossible to trace. Earlier in the day, even Donald Trump seemed worried. In a tweet, he said he had consulted the NRA and that such weapons made little sense. This in spite of a federal settlement that authorized company Defense Distributed to put up the instructions online. Its creator, Cody Wilson, a self-described anarchist, said he would appeal Tuesday's ruling. The 30-year-old Texan also said he had already published the blueprints on July the 27th. A worrying detail in a country where already 300 million firearms are in circulation.
And finally, it's not called the Sunshine State for nothing. Florida boasts some of the best beaches in America, including the award-winning Siesta Beach. Yenna Lee takes us there.
An award-winning destination. Siesta Beach is famous for its fine white sand and turquoise waters. The powdered sugar beach is located south of Tampa, Florida, and hosts the warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico. A familiar face on the waterfront is Ava, a yoga teacher.
Imagine that your arms are like an abacus. Inhale up.
For her, the crystal sand is a source of energy.
Look at this sand, honey. See that? If you saw this under a microscope, you'd be absolutely astonished. This is 99% quartz crystal. The only place in the world where you're going to find this is understood to be a transference, a mineral that transfers energy. It's radiating up. We inhale, open up, feel it tuck.
During the day, Siesta Beach fills up quite quickly. Free access with free parking, a rare sight in the US. Just some of the reasons why loyal beachgoers come back.
What I like about it is just the fact that it has a long, sand area, so a lot of people can come and it doesn't really feel crowded. And then also the fact that the water goes way out, still shallow.
We sold the house and we said, let's go. So here we are, and it's paradise. Honest to God, it's paradise.
For beachgoers who are looking for some thrill, Siesta Beach is also the place to be to spot some wild dolphins. The fearless mammals often swim close to boats along the coast. But this family didn't plan on dolphin watching at all. They're here for some parasailing.
It was much more peaceful than I expected. It's just like quiet up there. You don't feel like you're near as high up as what it looks like when you're
on the boat.
When you're on the boat. I don't know. It was fun.
Florida is also a mindset. There's the sand, the sports, the sun, and of course, the Drum Circle, a Siesta Beach institution. Percussion artists and amateurs gather every Sunday to make some music.
It's a great way to wind down the week, get a little exercise. Yeah, it's a great thing. I mean, where else can you get all
Beach Beachgoers can revel in the atmosphere every week 1 hour before sunset, or simply enjoy these stunning views from the Sunshine State.
Yenna Lee with that report there from Siesta Beach. And that's it then for this edition of Inside the Americas. See you again next week with more news from north to south.
Sur France 24, la nuit, on est très fiers d'accompagner les Amériques dans leurs soirées, de voir l'Asie se réveiller, et on est là jusqu'à ce que Paris s'éveille.
France 24 es más que solo noticias. Es libertad, igualdad y actualidad. Nosotros damos un paso más allá, con información al momento para analizar, comprender, poner en perspectiva y debatir.
Sur France 24, l'Afrique c'est chic.
In Live from Paris, our correspondents around the world keep you up to date.
Vous êtes déjà plusieurs millions et de plus en plus nombreux à suivre France 24 sur les réseaux sociaux.
من الطبيعي أن يكون شعارها الحرية وخاصة حرية التعبير في بلد حرية التعبير.
Revisited, presented by Stuart Norval.
After 20 years of conflict in which 70,000 people died, the Shining Path is a painful subject in Peru. It's 50 years since the armed revolutionary movement was created and 25 since the arrest of its founder. So how strong is the movement today? Are its members still nostalgic for the Maoist period? And what of the families of the thousands of missing victims?
Revisited on France 24 and France24.com.